Okay, so I had another idea for a video, and I don't know how much I have to say about it, but I've been trying to delineate, highlight, been trying to what? Itemize doesn't feel quite the right word. I guess just, map out or talk about different qualities of the healed or healing heart, different qualities that start to arise with healing. You could say transcendent qualities, qualities of God, qualities of fundamental goodness, peace, wholeness. And sincerity, honesty, integrity, innocence. Stability. Part of me it's like sort of struggle to offer these teachings because it's like I have not fully realized. Has anybody fully realized? I don't know. I mean, that's another question. But so, I guess I'm just trying to say that as you move in the direction of wholeness, more and more of these qualities shine through. I don't want to make overly grandiose claims about my own experience. Just things I notice. And clock just turned 11:11 right when I looked at that, or it was 11:11. Anyways, but just things that you notice that come through, right? So one of these is sobriety. I've been meaning to bring this up and I just keep forgetting, but I think that what we're doing really in awakening and healing, even that term awakening just feels too grandiose to me. It's like too much pressure. But I'll just say healing, moving in this direction of healing, of goodness. I think what we're doing on some level is pursuing sobriety. It's like there's a number of things that I could say about it. I mean, on one level, the spiritual path, the healing path, seems to hold out the promise of greater intoxication, bliss, amrita. And you certainly get into it because, for a lot of us, because you want relief at a minimum. Maybe bliss is like too is a little bit too ambitious, or abstract even, or it's like, but I'll take some relief, right? I'll take some diminution, some diminishing of the pain that I'm in, the suffering that I'm in, So you often, via the route of pain, the via dolorosa, the path of excruciation, you come to prioritize healing, But yeah, you spend enough time in spirituality and you come to see the potential of spirit. You come to recognize the vastness of being, of God, creation, let's say it that way. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with that, but I mean, you can definitely sort of take that same seeking mindset. You know, we're sort of pleasure-seeking creatures on one level. It's like, are we pleasure-seeking, or is it that we're pain-aversive, pain-avoidant animals? Maybe both. Part of me thinks it's more that we're pain-avoidant, and so pleasure is sort of the escape hatch that we're pursuing. And you can find a lot of temporary pleasure in this world. The world economy, writ large, generally speaking, is sort of built upon that aspect of our nature. Distraction, addiction, or it certainly takes advantage of those tendencies within ourselves. And you could frame it in one sense, in some sense very directly, explicitly, but just in a general sense, you could frame that as all the sort of addictive tendencies as kind of routes of intoxication that we use substances, we use external means of relief to avoid reality, to avoid what is. And for a lot of us, for a variety of reasons, part of what is, it's not the deepest aspect of what is, but at least on the surface, and some of the, moving beyond even the surface, part of what is pain, is suffering. And so this is a world of, a garden of delights in a certain sense. And so we have all these strategies to avoid pain. And you could say these are routes of intoxication, that we're kind of all drunk on all these different patterns, different habits. And so the healing path is a path of sobriety. It's like coming out of intoxication. And that hits on so many different levels. You know, this almost feels like it's not quite my teaching to share, but just from other people that I've listened to, and I mean, there's underlying dynamics that are sort of universal here, but you think about people who are in recovery, in AA, or other programs like that, Alcoholics Anonymous. There are people that share, you know, sort of in the non-duality genre, who have come to that recognition that part of their path has been through addiction to substances. And in a way, you almost just want to say that those people who have had very brutal paths of substance abuse, at a certain level, you can see them just as sort of at the extremity of a spectrum that we're all on. that we're all addicted on some level, that addiction is sort of the fundamental human pattern of separation. When people talk in a negative sense about human nature, I think that's part of what they're pointing to. But that part of that healing journey for some of these individuals has been coming to sobriety in the context of alcohol or hard drugs, whatever it is. That's kind of a first healing, a first awakening. But in some ways it is an analogy for all healing, all awakening, is that you're coming out of the intoxication, the addiction, the unhealthy patterns of the mind. From one definition, you could say that is the mind. That is what the mind is those patterns. And I've heard it said that God is what is. God is reality. God is truth. Truth is reality. And so in that context, sobriety is a synonym or is a quality of contact with, recognition of, reality, God, truth. Clarity is another word for it. At a certain level, it's like all these qualities are just sort of subtle variations. It's like facets. Synonyms. I've sometimes had that feeling that it's like all these different qualities, they're just synonyms. God, isness, I amness, wholeness, clarity. Yeah, but I mean, you could also see them as qualities in a sense. And sobriety is peace, right? Sobriety is clarity. When you're sober, you have a sound mind. There's a clarity there. There's a lack of distortion. There's a lack of dysfunction. There's a settledness. There's a groundedness. There's a contact, you could say, with reality. On another level, you could say, yeah, it's just hard in language because you almost automatically, or you almost just you just kind of automatically generate these subject-object splits, dualities, but it's like yeah, you could just say sobriety is another word for reality. Not even contact with, but it's just reality shining through. And it comes across as sobriety, or the feeling tone of it is soberness. Now, in comparison to all the spin and chaos and madness of the mind, in this context, the intoxication, distortion, could say that in comparison to that, being sober has its own kind of radiance, its own kind of bliss, its own kind of simplicity also. That intoxicated state is very kind of creates complications, and there's a simplicity. So yeah, in the same way that part of the healing journey for people with substance abuse is moving towards sobriety, I think that's just, you could say that's an analogy, or you could just say that's part of the larger path of ultimate sobriety or deeper sobriety. Not sure if there's anything else to say about that. You know, it's a big endeavor, healing, because it's like with alcoholism, say, I mean, part of what happens, I think, for a lot of people is you change your friend group. It's like you try not to put yourself in those environments where you become more vulnerable to losing your sobriety. Maybe this is where the metaphor breaks down a little bit, but there's something similar. It's like you want to be, yeah, I don't know if I want to really go down that road. Yeah. I think maybe I'll leave it at that.